The 17th of July, 1900, Volume 3. Louisa gives a relief to Jesus. He makes her consider the chastisements he holds back. Having received communion, I did not see Blessed Jesus as I usually do, and after waiting for a long time, I felt I was going outside of myself, and I found him. As I saw him, he said to me, "Daughter, I was waiting for you to be able to rest a little bit in you, for I cannot take any more. Oh, please, give me a relief." Immediately I took him in my arms to content him, and I saw that he had a deep wound on his shoulder, which aroused compassion and repugnance at the sight. So he rested for a few minutes, and then after that brief rest, I looked and I saw that the wound was almost healed. So, amid amazement and stupefaction, and seeing him more relieved, I plucked up courage and I said to him, "Blessed Lord, my poor heart is tormented by a fear that you do not love me any more. I fear I have incurred your indignation, and this is why you no longer come as before. You do not pour your bitternesses into me, and you no longer give me my good, which is suffering. And by denying this to me, you come to deny yourself. Oh, please give peace to a poor heart. Tell me, assure me, swear to me, do you love me? Do you continue loving me?" And he, yes, I love you. And how can I be sure of this? Since when one really loves somebody, whatever he wants, one gives him. But I say to you, do not chastise the people, and you chastise them. Pour your bitternesses into me, and you do not pour them. On the contrary, it seems at this time you are going too far. So how can I rely on your loving me? And he, "My daughter, you take into account the chastisements I send, but those which I hold back you take into no account. How many more chastisements I would have sent, how many more slaughters, and how much more blood I would have caused to be shed if I had no regard for those few who love me and whom I love with a special love." Then after this it seemed that Jesus set on his way to go there where slaughters of human flesh were occurring. I wanted to follow him, but it was not given me to do it, and to my higher sorrow, I found myself inside myself. End of the reading. The 17th of July, 1906, Volume 7. To one who does the will of God, Jesus gives the key of his treasures, and there is no grace that comes from God in which she does not take part. This morning I saw Blessed Jesus with a key in his hand, and he said to me, "My daughter, this key is the key of my will. It befits one who lives in my will to have the key, in order to open and close as she pleases, and to take whatever she likes of my treasures. In fact, by living of my will, she will look after my treasures more than if they were her own, because all that is mine is hers, and she will not spoil them. Rather, she will give them to others, or will take for herself whatever can give me more honour and glory. Therefore, behold, I deliver the key to you. Look after my treasures." While he was saying this, I felt all immersed in the divine will, so much so that I could see nothing but will of God, and I spent the whole day in this paradise of his will. Ah, what happiness, what contentment! During the night, as I found myself outside of myself, I continued to be in this atmosphere, and the Lord added, "See, my beloved, for one who lives in my will, there is no grace that comes from my will for all creatures of heaven and earth in which she does not take part as first. And this is natural, because the one who lives in the house of a father is the one who abounds in everything. And if the others who are outside receive something, it is the surplus from the one who lives inside. But who can say what I understood of this divine will? These are things that cannot be expressed. May everything be for the glory of God." End of the reading. The 17th of July 1907, Volume 8. The true sign to know whether one lives in the divine will. Continuing in my usual state, Blessed Jesus came for just a little and told me, "My daughter, the true sign to know whether the soul lives in my will is that everything that happens to her, every circumstance, takes place in peace, because my will is so perfect and holy that it cannot produce even the shadow of disturbance. So if in contrasts, mortifications, or bitternesses she feels disturbed, she cannot say that she is inside my will. If she feels resigned and also disturbed, she can say at most that she is in the shadow of my will. In fact, while being outside of it, she is free to feel her own self, but not inside." End of the reading. The 17th of July, 1931, Volume 29, Beneficial Reign, Continuous Creation of the Divine Will, Internal and External Order of it. The creature is carried in its arms. I was feeling all immersed in the Fiat. Its air is so sweet, refreshing, that one feels oneself being reborn at each instant to a new life. But what does one breathe in this air of the divine will? One breathes air of light, of love, of sweetness, of fortitude, of divine knowledges, and so forth, in such a way as to feel oneself renewed to new life. This beneficial and balsamic air, as it is breathed, makes the divine will grow in the creature, and just as when one breathes the air, with the breath it is enclosed inside, and by repeating the breath it is put outside, because the strength of the air is so great that one cannot keep only as much as is necessary in order to live, the surplus must be put out with the same breath. But what does one put out? What she has received after she has filled herself. Love, light, goodness she has breathed in. Love, light, goodness she gives back. But while my poor mind wandered in this divine air, my sweet Jesus told me, "My daughter, all the good acts that the creature does in my divine will rise to God, because it has the divine power to draw up into the celestial fatherland what is done in its volition, and then with its same power it makes them fall back like beneficial rain over the same creature, in such a way that if the creature loves, blesses, adores, thanks, praises, God requites her with new rain of love, of blessings, rain of thanksgivings, because he felt himself being loved and thanked by the creature, and bursting into rain of praises, he praises her before the whole celestial court. Oh, how our divine goodness awaits the adoration, the pleasant I love you of the creature, to be able to give to our love the vent of being able to say to her, 'Daughter, I love you.' Therefore, there is not one act that the creature does for us for which our tenderness or paternal does not give to her multiplied requital." Then I continued my acts in the divine Fiat, and my beloved Jesus added, "My daughter, the creature is carried in the arms of my divine will, and its love is so great that it keeps all creation around her as if in act it were always, always creating it to give her pleasure and render her happy, and say to her, 'My creative strength maintains all this machine of the universe. If it withdrew, the sun would disappear as if by magic. The heavens and all the other things would resolve into nothing, just as from nothing they came out. So my creative power keeps on creating it continuously, and can say in all reality, it is precisely for you that I am creating the sun, so that your life, your journey, may be strewn with light. For you, the azure heavens, so that your eye may wander afar and delight in their extension. I am creating everything for you. I maintain everything in order because I love you. My divine will makes itself life in all of the acts. It sustains them and preserves them. It places them around the creature to make her feel from all things and from all sides its unmovable life, its immutable strength, its invincible love. It can be said that it clasps her everywhere as triumph of its love, and it maintains not only the external order and all things in act, as if it were creating them, but it maintains internally with its creative strength the whole internal order of the creature. So it is always in act of creating the heartbeat, the breath, the motion, the circulation of the blood, the intelligence, the memory, the will. It runs its life in the heartbeat, in the breath, in everything. It sustains and preserves without ever withdrawing from the soul and from the body. Yet this supreme will of mine is everything, does everything, and is not recognized, but rather forgotten. I could say, as I said to the apostles, I have been with you so long, and you still do not know me. Many things are made known that do not form the life of the creature, and of my will that forms the life and is continuous active life, otherwise she could not live, nothing is made known. Therefore, my daughter, be attentive, recognize it in you and outside of you, in everything, more than your own life, and you will feel admirable things. Its continuous act that loves you with untiring love, and only because it loves you, it gives you life. End of the reading. There are no more readings today.